Aunt Grace awakened from her slumber, greeted by the warm, insistent rays of the sun that gently enveloped her. Thus began her first day of work. "I need my pills right away," she thought anxiously. The prospect of being overwhelmed by a rush of terror and anxiety loomed over her. Although she would have preferred to stay at home, the reality was harsh. The pantry was completely empty, and even the water supply had been turned off. For the past 3 months, Aunt Grace had been surviving without any means of sustenance. Her savings had dwindled, and for over a week now, she had been sharing her meager food supplies with her daughter. Even though Emily was in her early 20s, she couldn't live on her own without financial means or a job. It was time for her to do what her friends and even distant acquaintances had been doing for a long time. She needed to enter the job market and make a name for herself. Grace decided to forgo breakfast since there was nothing to eat, and it was time to prepare for the day ahead. Despite the long absence of food, she was still an attractive woman whose age could only be noticed by her skin. Before going out, Grace tried to explore the possibilities of working online via webcam, offering people like her advice on how to lead a fulfilling life. Earning a living in this way was becoming increasingly difficult due to the emergence of competing markets where the most financially secure people spent their leisure time. Nevertheless, our heroine found that she still valued the male sex, especially young men. Making her way through the yards on her way to the market, Grace encountered a group of boys who enthusiastically praised her with the typical flattery of their youth. "What a woman! So beautiful! Do you have a daughter? We'd like to meet her." Grace, however, chose to ignore them and silently continued on her way. When she reached the market, she found herself standing in line next to a young girl who looked no more than 19, and Grace was speechless for a moment. Not knowing what to do, she finally stepped forward as her turn came up. There were young guys sitting there, filming everything on cameras. "A grown woman," they said cheerfully. "That's wonderful. They are loved here." They filmed her from different angles and told her to sit down. It turned out they just needed an actress for a movie where she would play the lead role of a teacher. And her shooting partners were to be 6 young guys. They were students in the movie. And she was offered a good fee. Yes, so good that Grace was in shock because she never held in her hand such money. And so they arrived at the studio. 6 guys were waiting for her in full readiness. The shoot lasted until late at night. Several takes were done. The guys were happy. Grace was too. She would gain invaluable experience in her new job, and they gave her a lot of money. They asked her to sign a contract with their studio because they decided to shoot a sequel with her, as they liked her so much. So the grown-up Grace found a dream job where she could have a great time and still make money.